Hare Krishna, Mata. Hare Krishna. Maybe you can tell me what time the class is scheduled to start. Hare Krishna, Mata, Rohini, Priya.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought it starts at 6. Let me just check. It says no, 6:30. 6:30. I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. I apologize. I'm just rushing to catch the class, and now I'm reading. It says 6:30. It'll start.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mata. Yes, no, I started late I am an hour ahead, so I started wrong time last time. I wanted to make sure. Thank you, Mata.
I start wrong every time. I'm sorry. You're so sweet. You have such a soft voice. Nice to meet you. I'm Rohini Priya.
It's very nice to meet you, Rohini. I'm Kara Gillerman.
Hi, Kara. Okay, have a wonderful evening. See you soon.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, you're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to our Wednesday program.
Have a new guest.
What is your name, Mata?
Yulia.
Yulia. Welcome. Okay, so our next part is we finish chanting, singing the glories of the Lord's sweet name in this age. Purifies the heart. Now we are going to pray by invoking the mercy of our Guru and the disciplic succession all the way to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Radha Shema Sundar, the divinity. So please join together, and those who are online, internet, you can offer some flower with your subtle body at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara all the way to Radha Krishna. We can fold our hand and join together. Om Jnanatimirandasa Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathantam Tam Sajimam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakananscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavani Paschatadeshatani Panchakalpa Taruvesha Kripasindhupayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Do you have the other slide you had for the first 6 chapter? You had this PowerPoint. You don't have that. You have. Maybe you can show just for 1 minute or 2 minutes. So today we are beginning chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, with the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and I went to actually search. I paid my humble obeisances to all those Bhagavad Gita speakers. Online there is a whole bunch of devotees are sincere. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, Satapa Prabhu, Gauranga Prabhu, so many devotees are preaching Bhagavad Gita. Wonderful. I pay respect to all of them. Srila Prabhupada has infected us with this spiritual potency, so we can distribute this. While you search for this, and then on the Sloka Mata, half of them will do it at the end, and the next week other half. Okay. So first question was discussed that what is the synopsis of chapter 2? What are the some main lessons that we can learn from chapter 2. So this chapter instructs us in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority, Sri Krishna himself. Now, in the previous chapter, we discussed Visrijya sa saram chapam soko sambigna manasa. That he's holding, Arjuna was going through a stage of life of depression. Have you ever felt depression in life? You felt like lonely, you felt like hopeless, you feel like confused, worried, you feel like running away from your life. Did you ever felt? Sure. This is exactly what Arjuna felt. Yeah, this is good. Look at this. This is very funny. They're all crying, depressed. What it says? Material consciousness is the cause of sorrow. That's true. So it's wonderful that we should remember from this second chapter that we have two lives. We should always remember. We have a two identity. How many? Two. At least minimum two. One is constitutional, one is conditional. Constitutional is who we are in our essential. Essential, we are soul. Not body, not Indian, American, or man or woman, nothing. These are all conditional. Constitutional, fundamental identity, that you are soul. Conditional, you are American, Indian, boy, girl, mother, functional identity you have. So the journey Arjuna is going to show us, Krishna going to show us through Arjuna, that how we are going to go from functional to fundamental, called cognitional. So while Arjuna, in America, I don't know so much, but in India, when somebody is depressed, you know what they do? They go like this. They put their hand like this, or they go like this. Life is horrible, miserable, can't speak, just cannot figure it out. This is what Arjuna was doing. That he was putting his hand to express that he is very tormented. When Parashuram was asked by his father, my dear son, you should obey my order. Do as I ask you. He said, yes, father. Go kill your mother. Can anybody do it? How did Parashuram do it? Because he knew the power of his father. The power of Jamadagni. How powerful. He can create, he can make somebody dead. He could have done himself. But he wants to test his son is loyal or not. The other son did not. And he killed his mother, killed his brothers. I'm very happy. I want to give you a blessing. What blessing would you like? Father, give me a blessing that my mother and the brother, they can wake up as if they woke up from the sleep. They have no memory that I killed them or anything. No problem. And it happened. So when you have that kind of understanding, it's easy to handle life. But not everybody. For our understanding, Krishna is engaging Arjuna in that scenario so he could speak the truth, the knowledge of the soul and our functional identity in this world as a mother, as an American, as a wife, a husband, and all this. People are bewildered by this. Why bewildered? Because they don't have a constitutional, fundamental identity. So Arjuna was bewilderment did not come from fundamental identity. You understand that point? But functional identity, I'm supposed to protect the families from the aggressors. When somebody hurt your family, what do you do as a family man? You're supposed to protect the family. You kill the aggressors. But then you also have a duty as a Kshatriya to maintain the peace of the world. You have to have a law and order. So he had a two duty. One was Kula Dharma. What is Kula Dharma means he is born in a particular family, he is supposed to protect. And then he has a Kshatriya Dharma. Kshatriya Dharma means you have to act for the right, proper duty as a Kshatriya, kill the aggressors. But problem is, both are same person, same people. The aggressors are the Kauravas, and his Bhishma Dev, his Guru Dronacharya, he even, Prabhupada even mentioned, Arjuna even asked Krishna, have you ever killed your grandfather who raised you? Imagine you are a little baby. I could imagine that you are playing on the lap of your grandfather and you grow up, your grandfather teach you how to walk, how to run, how to play, everything you've grown up. And you come to a point where grandfather supported against actually the Varna, against the religious right. At that point, he is need to be killed. Now the point beginning from today, it's very interesting. Krishna's whole conclusion is, when you know your fundamental identity as a soul, then by killing anybody, you never kill anybody because soul never dies. You follow? So that's one way looking at it. And the other way to looking at it, that the body is going to die anyway. By not fighting, not correcting them, you're trying to protect them, but those body will be ultimately finished. So who you are really fighting for? You follow? If you are protecting the body will be ultimately finished. Who is the grandfather and the Guru, Dronacharya and all this? The body is identifying with this body. Because there's a soul, they are neither grandfather or Guru here. They are just another living being. Now, what is the contamination that they have supported? The Draupadi's insult. So, second chapter is named Srila Prabhupada, the summary content, and different Acharya give different name. Some give Sankha Yoga because first chapter was Vishad Yoga, is a lamentation. Sankha Yoga is a standard name, says Sankha, talked about in the initial part of the chapter. Sankha means analysis. Analysis of existence into various elements. So analysis of existence into matter and spirit. You have to separate in the beginning. That's why in the beginning, don't think you're a servant of God. Think first, you are not matter. You're not this body. Separate yourself that I have nothing to do with this material product. I'm actually soul. That's why Prabhupada hammered it. I'm not this body, I'm not this body, I'm not this body. Follow. First, you separate this matter and spirit. Soul is eternal. You must grasp and realize indestructibility of spiritual reality. Then when you focus on the eternity, spirituality, then you can separate what is not spirituality, what is not eternity. And this is the beginning of this second chapter. And very wonderful that first 1 to 10, text 1 to 10, Arjuna has a further doubts and surrender. So Arjuna expressed one more reason, that is indecision. Since I am undecided, to let us not take more aggressive course of action, let us not fight. Now we should also understand this very clearly. What we are born with, a particular nature, it is not the eternal nature of the soul, but it is a contaminated nature called Svabhav. You cannot escape from it. You are bound to act on that. Svabhajena kunte nibuddhasena karma. Kartum necchasi janmat karishyasi avasya apitat. You will be compelled to act. So Arjuna is giving a proposal like maybe he can go for begging, live by begging. You don't have experience on that, but sannyasi supposed to live by begging. Hare Krishnas, they go. They collect some donation from selling books. Live by begging. But if you are born with a Kshatriya nature, blood, you're going to compare. You will act as a Kshatriya. So this proposal, Krishna is making it very interesting. And this chapter beginning, there's a big switch of when you have a too good friend having a good time, you don't learn so much. You just have a good time. You're not learning there so much. You're just passing the time. But when one friend seriously become your student, gives up the friendship, say, I want to just surrender to you, teach me. Of course, this is a time to smile for the other friend who is a teacher of Krishna. He did smile because Arjuna is now a student. Karpanna dosa apahato sabha. Inflicted. Hata means inflicted. Apahata means very much inflicted. Karpanna dosa due to my miserly condition. Prichamitam dharma sammurachita. Dharma, I want to learn. So this is a very turning point. And then from text 11 to 30, he said, Jnana. Jnana means knowledge. Fight as a soul is eternal. Compassion for the temporary body is ignorant. Can you imagine, mother, first time you came, can you imagine a person is drowning in a river? And if you grab that person's shirt and cloth, because that's how you have access. He has a shirt or something, and you grab it. Somehow or other, you just save the shirt, and you say, "I got him! I got him!" Did you save him? No, because he's not the shirt. So similarly, this body is not soul, but we are inside the body, and whole world is trying to save the body, talk about the body, talk about relationship, bodily relation, bodily disease, bodily this, bodily that. You are Hindu, you are Christian, all this body designation. Even the religion, it's all body designation. Where you born, what you are. It's unfortunately nobody teach that the garment is not the person, the body is not the person, the soul is the person inside the body. So this is what Krishna is going to start from 11 to 30, text 11 to 30. Those who are listening, you do some analysis about jnana, knowledge. So Arjuna was encouraged to fight as a soul, it's eternal. Compassion for the temporary body is sign of ignorance. So Krishna counters Arjuna's compassion argument. First argument was, how can I kill my relative? He felt compassion for them. Was it like a relative is the soul or the body? See how very uniquely, isn't it? And you remember last week what we discussed, that Arjuna has a big turmoil because all these 6 aggressors, we discussed that they are all Kauravas did it. They poisoned Pandavas, they put fire in their house, lake house. All these 6 aggressors, kidnap wife, deadly poison, take over the home or land, which they did in the gambling match. So point is they are actually considered aggressors and they should be killed. And the other part was that he's supposed to also protect, but then when he found the book, then he asked Krishna, what am I? What is my prime duty as a Kshatriya, to protect the family, the country, or I have to, no, that's a Kula Dharma, and Kshatriya Dharma is that kill the aggressor. And Krishna came up a very wonderful explanation. He said, you are neither. Don't do this or don't do that. Why? Because you are soul. You are not Kshatriya or descendant of this dynasty, Pandavas. You are neither Pandava or Kshatriya. Who are you then? Your spirit soul. And spirit soul, there is a function of the spirit soul. So then he went like this. And that was a very turning point. Text 13, 14 is the turning point. So now, then third argument is about Nishkarman Karma Yoga. Krishna counters the argument about sinful reaction. Krishna tells Arjuna, if you do Nishkarma Karma Yoga, then you will do activity which brings no reaction. Because every action has a same and opposite reaction. But if you do Nishkam Karma Yoga, without expecting any result, then there is no reaction. But everybody expects some result. Even in the battlefield, when Abhimanyu was killed, what did Arjuna do? Arjuna understood, okay, don't expect, just fight. Don't expect anything. But then he immediately says, by tomorrow, sunset, I'm going to kill Jayadratha. So he's expecting something. You see how it's flipping? So Krishna, that's why he's backing here. He says, he's talking from the perspective of a person who is detached from everything material. For that, Arjuna asks, who is that kind of person? Sthitati Munish Uchate, 256. We're going to do next week. But I'm just giving a brief for the whole chapter. And Arjuna says, I wanted to know more about that person. Krishna has used characteristic of that person. This is the last section. We can have a little more light. Good. Characteristic of Sthita Prajna. So basically in this section, Arjuna's 3 arguments. One is compassion, one is enjoyment, one is fear for sinful reaction in this way countered. Now the argument about Kulaskaya Pranashanti, destruction of family tradition, will be countered in the 3rd chapter. Arjuna next and last 5th argument about indecision, which to make. In this chapter, that will be countered by the end of Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna expresses his decision that I will fight. So I don't know if you are catching it up. He was discouraged. And in 1873, the same Arjuna, whose Gandiva was slipping off from his shoulder, he can't fight. He's overwhelmed by this. And he's discouraged. He sat down with the depressed hand. And 1873, he picked up Gandiva. And he's very encouraged. I'm ready to do. Nastamaha smiti labda, nastamaha smiti labda, tat prasadad maya uchyata, sthitasmi gata sandhya, karishye vachanam tava, karishye vachanam tava. I'm ready to do as you wish. He's encouraged. So this is a very big change we see. Then the question is difference between Arjuna and Duryodhana. So I'm going to briefly tell a story. This question is very nice. How do we see this world? How the great devotee sees this world versus God, Krishna, and how the Karmis sees God versus this world. So you all know the story that once the war was declared, Duryodhan literally sent messenger all over the planet, ask for help, that we are going to a war, please come and join, support me. And the whole purpose is that he wants to win, that's it. And he also knows, Duryodhan also knows who is the biggest supporter of Pandava. Who? Krishna. He also knows that. So what Duryodhan do, he's trying to be what they call in America, too smart or something. So he himself went to Dwarka. He knows that if I can get Krishna, then Pandava will lose. But his getting Krishna is not getting Krishna, what we think. Try to understand this very key point. Those who are real devotee, they see world has no value without Krishna. And those who are not devotee, they think the God has no value. Krishna has no value without the wealth and world. So Duryodhan went there, and some or other Jogamaya arrangement, they had a one kind of a reception type of area where Krishna was resting, little nap type of. And there was one chair. It's like the whole thing is arranged very mysterious, near his shoulder. And as Arjuna arrived also there, he also went there because he is also on the other side leader. The war is now settled. And they both went there, but Arjuna noticed that Duryodhana is being welcomed by others. He's entering in, they escorted him to see Krishna. So Lord Krishna's eyes were closed and he was like resting or taking nap, whatever it is. Then Duryodhana came and he saw one chair, immediately grabbed that chair and sat down. He saw also Arjuna coming. Even though, like in your family, if you have a cousin, brother, younger, you generally ask, how are you? You want to sit down here? No, Duryodhana, it's sad that no culture, So then Arjuna came, and Arjuna came, he was not looking for sitting. He's looking for the lotus feet of the Lord. He paid obeisances, and he was always very much in love with Krishna, that his eyes were like emotional, and he stood with a folded hand near his feet. So after a few minutes, Lord Krishna woke up, said, oh, Arjuna. Duryodhana said, I am here first actually. Now when you wake up, who do you see first? Whoever, generally your feet, where your feet is. When you wake up, your feet, wherever your feet is. So Arjuna is folded and so then Krishna said, well, I saw him first. He said, but I came first. Duryodhana, that's his appeal. You want to make sure that his appeal is like a very, So then Arjuna folded and then Krishna says, well, what is the purpose of both of you coming? He said, the inevitable war is going to begin. So we wanted to know your participation. Krishna said, I'm not going to participate. Sorry. So, but I have 900,000, almost 1 million soldier, Narayana Sena, big fighter. Duryodhana is thinking, I hope he gives me the chance first. So Krishna says, but since Arjuna is a younger, maybe we should ask him first what he wants. Duryodhana said, but I came first. He already said before, but he wanted to read. But Arjuna folded and he heard it. Krishna says, I have almost 1 million Narayana soldier and my side, but I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to participate. what do you want, Arjuna? Arjuna says, I just want you. Duryodhana wanted to thank him so much. Thank you, you are fool, or something like he didn't want to say that because he wanted those soldiers. Everybody understanding what's the difference between these two? One sees the world has no value without Krishna, and the other sees that Krishna has no value without the world. It's just the devotee and karma. This is how Duryodhana thinks. What's the value of him if he doesn't join? So then, after Duryodhana left, Krishna asked Arjuna, I'm not going to fight. I don't know why you choose me. And Arjuna says, wherever you are, that is the victory for you. So Krishna was making a little kind of a joke. He always joke. Be careful when you meet Krishna. You prepare to answer. He's not just going to, oh, thank you. You have struggled so many years, so many lives in Alachua. Now you come and stay. No, he's going to ask you a question. You have to answer. Why you are here? You could have enjoyed there. I can send you back with a big palace, all things. Be very specific. I'm serious. That's how Krishna is. It's not a joke. So then Krishna says, so I'm not going to fight. What is the Arjuna says, wherever you are, there's victory for me. I don't need anything. I just want you forever at you. Okay. Oh, really, what do you want me to do? Said, if you just be a chariot driver. Okay. Said, you will shoot an arrow first because I'm in the front. And then you'll be in the back. Arjuna says, there is nobody ever born can touch even the hair of your body. How can they even touch your skin? And Krishna says, you have so strong faith. Now, why Krishna is saying this? Because Krishna always tests it. It is true what Arjuna is saying, but Krishna still have to test it. This is how Krishna is. He's a very lovely person, like a boring, not boring, never bored. You'll never be bored with Krishna. You'll be always have fun, 24 hours a day. So then after that Arjuna, so the question was, what was the question? What are, when it comes to Krishna in the world, what is the difference between Arjuna and Duryodhana? So what did you understand?
Arjuna chose Krishna with the understanding that so long as I have the Lord by my side, I have everything. That's my victory. And Duryodhana's conception was that without the world, Krishna has no value. So it's the difference between.
Isn't it so sad? But that's how they see. They think more material asset they have. They don't need God. It's okay. It's true. I mean, some aspect within me also was there. So it's very sad. Next question comes. What kind of self-examination made Arjuna's remonstration? Remonstration means the complaint type of it. Against God and to plead to God. So sweet. Those questions are nice. Even though we made it. But in one word, just one word. Humility. Humility is so powerful, it can transform a protest against God to a plea or prayer to God. Humility is so powerful. When we face perplexities or adversities, we may protest. Why is this happening to me? We do, no? Don't ask in the public, but within our mind. It's like, what's going on with me? Why this like this? Why Krishna doesn't answer? If we accept God as the supreme controller, we may protest against him. Why Krishna allowing this to happen in my life? It's like doesn't allow. It ever happened to you? Many times it happened to me. But I did not go too far of asking this question. Somehow the Krishna was inspiring me to just chant, and somehow that came out of it. It was nice. So we may protest against him. Why are you letting this happen? This question will come again and again. So Arjuna's protest to Krishna agonized at the prospect of fighting against his own relative. Even Prabhupada said in the purport, Arjuna said, Krishna, have you ever killed your grandfather? Just to make sure, so you understand the feeling of killing grandfather. Have you ever killed your guru? Have you? And Krishna understood also where he is coming from. But what was the discussion we said before? That he is addressing the body, not the soul. When the body is contaminated by reaction of their supporting adharma in religion, that body has to be dissolved. Like today in the morning class in the Zoom, somebody was asked, related to this was asking, and then point was that a Brahmana went to Dwarka and complained to Krishna. You are Supreme God, but you are the root cause of all these 640 million people death, and all their wives, children now finish. There will be Varna Sankar, mixed mess. The world will be in chaos, and you are responsible. How as a God you do this? Now, one angle you may see this way, materially. But Krishna is so loving, even though he is supreme powerful, he is the God, but he is very loving. He said, you are a Brahmana. Do you know who allows you to talk even to me? It is me. From within your heart, I allow you, okay, you can speak to me. If I don't want you to, you cannot even move. But you do not know my nature. Generally, Krishna doesn't speak, reveal his secret, but sometimes he reveals. That time he revealed. Do you know what happened? 191.9.13 in Bhagavatam, you can see in that sloka, Bhishmadev's Upakhana, that all these 640 million people, their body was contaminated to an extent that they would suffer in hell forever. Not eternal damnation, but kind of like this, they would suffer like love. But Krishna is so kind that he literally allowed them to be liberated. Of course, there's three things that depends on us. Even if you're liberated, you have to learn the art, how to appreciate and glorify Krishna. Everybody got liberated, but that doesn't mean they are in the spiritual world. Those who appreciate it, is that 1.9.39? What is the translation? Can you read loudly?
At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction to be Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjuna, who stood with a whip in his right hand and bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. So those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death.
See, all those, what did you just read last sentence? Those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also gave a commentary on this Prabhupada's translation. Very nice. That in battlefield of Kurukshetra, all the body got dissolved by the Sudarshan Chakra. You have a physical body. What is blocking between you and your Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna? What is blocking? Subtle body. You follow? Constitutionally, essentially, you are soul. That's constitutional position. Conditionally, you are a husband. You are a mailman, whatever. UPS carrier. So you have so many identity, functional identity. But some or other, if you can link it, cognitional, come to the constitutional, then your journey is over. So here it says that all those 640 million people, they were exposed to Krishna's spiritual form. But not everybody got the same destiny. That is not depend on Krishna. Krishna gave that choice to us. We have a choice to make. You can see God. You can appreciate God's wonderful activity. You can express and glorify and express your feeling to serve Him, love Him. Then you will go to spiritual world. They went to Golok. Those who only appreciate went to Vaikuntha. Those who didn't do anything, they're so inimical. Even though they got liberation by the mercy of God, they just merge. You follow? That choice is not, Krishna doesn't make that choice. That choice is each individual soul makes. So that's one. Then Krishna told to the Brahmana, all those souls, they would suffer in hell, but they all got liberation. And all their wives, children, they are being saturated with Krishna consciousness by Draupadi, Uttara, Kunti. They give big seminar classes. While Krishna was living, he was interested to hear what those ladies are talking on the roof of all those buildings. More than the Brahmanas, thousands of Brahmanas are reciting Jaggic mantras. Priya jodi man kare kare vartsan, Veda stuti hoite hare mor mon. 4th chapter Adilila, it says Veda stuti hoite. Even prayers are recited, or Vedic mantras are recited by the Vedic Brahmana. It's for Krishna, but it does not attract Krishna's heart as much as even those are in love with Krishna, exhibiting their sulkiness. Even they use really heavy word, call Krishna nickname, all this, Turta, Lampat, like this, debauchee, all this. But Krishna pays attention. Krishna was so much interested to hear all those ladies talk. And then he told the Brahmanas, do you know that all of them got benefited? Why you claim as a Brahmana and you do not know God's nature? So what is God's nature? Everybody together say, Sada Suddha,
Sada Suddha,
Siddhakam,
Siddhakam,
Bhakata Vatsalanam,
Vatsalanam,
Bhakata Janera Nitta Swami.
Janera Nitya Swami.
This is Krishna's nature. And Krishna told to the Brahmana, why you don't know my nature and you claim you are a Brahmana? Sada Suddha Siddhakam Bhakata Vatsalanam Bhakata Janera Nitta Swami. Everything Krishna thinks, he does, he performs is all pure, perfect, it's only beneficial. You follow? Never Krishna creates anything that is not beneficial. Anything he does, everything and anything. Sada Suddha Siddhaka Bhagavad. And but he has a one quality, supersede all other, is the affection for his devotee. He will do anything. He loves his devotee. Bhakata Vatsalanam, Bhakata Janera Nitya Swami. He's always protector and maintainer of his devotees, each devotees. So then Brahmana felt, bad, like he had no idea. But he went, how audacity here. I'm glad he went, that we came to know, otherwise we would not know. Probably it's Jogamaya's arrangement. But the point is that how people see about God makes what you believe, that's what you are. How do you know who is a Muslim, Hindu, Christian? Right? What's the difference? It's what they believe, what they have faith. That's over here. This is a beautiful 7 verse. Bhagavad Gita 2.7 is a very important verse. It's a turning point. Karpanna dosa pahata sabhava prichhami tam dharma sammura cheta Jasreya sanishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadimam tam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty, have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple, a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. The friend, no more friendship. One became guru and one became disciple. So now the real teaching began. And it's wonderful. The question answered is, sometime when in your life, when you have a struggle, what's the first thing you should do? Huh?
Open the shop.
No, slow down. Whatever you're doing. If the road has a big bump, what do you do? Slow down. It'll be easier. If you're struggling, whatever is going on, just slow down, reflect why this is happening. Maybe there's just some lesson to be learned. It is important that we go. Because we have diligent. Intelligent means to know what to do when you don't know what to do. You follow? So you have to reflect. Then wherever we have made decision, we are usually seek guidance from our intelligence, isn't it? And intelligence is supposed to help you to do when your builder don't know what to do. So Arjuna did a wonderful thing in this time. He took shelter of Krishna. Whenever we have trouble, we should take shelter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna. And maybe you may feel baffled or disheartened, intellectually paralyzed, means you don't know what to do. So confused. Turn to that time, what you should do? Turn towards supreme, reliable guide, Krishna. And he surrendered, Arjuna surrendered to the Lord, seeking to understand the essence of dharma, duty. What is dharma? Dharma sammura cheta. Yeah. Krishna responded by speaking the Gita. Arjuna situated himself in his eternal identity as a part of the whole. We all have a role in Krishna's plan. What is Krishna consciousness ultimately? What Krishna has a plan. If your plan is aligned with it, then you are Krishna conscious. Your plan and Krishna's plan going opposite, you are irreligious, atheist. They also know God, some aspect, but they don't want to follow. They don't want to align. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in this Kali Yuga you should chant. I don't feel like to chant. You are going against God. Doesn't sound good. So this is very important. Whatever happened in our life, first we should reflect, examine, and see if it is aligned with Krishna's plan, with Bhagavad Gita, with Prabhupada. And then you will find very easily you can come out of that struggle. Let's see. How spiritual knowledge makes us far-sighted and deep-sighted, deep-rooted far-sighted. So, what is far-sighted? To be far-sighted means to see distance, consequences of present action. Isn't it? To be deep-sighted means to see beyond the surface of the problem and underlying issues. This is every day we deal with this in our life. So how Arjuna got benefited here that we can apply to our life? We frequently function with a short-term vision of our life, seeing immediate pleasure, or at the most seeking pleasure that lasts this lifetime. But when we get spiritual knowledge, understand that our identity extend beyond the body, beyond the mind, the soul, then we will appreciate and will survive beyond inevitably bodily deterioration and destruction. Because bodily transformation don't disturb us that much, because we see death as a transition, not termination. When do you see that? When you lose the fear of death, you don't see it's like a termination of you. When you are focused on Krishna consciousness. And this is important, very important, because life will threaten you. Some sickness, severe accident, or whatever, death is going to happen. And if you are not holding on to the indestructibility of spiritual reality, you will have a fear. So far-sighted means you're supposed to see you are not this body or mind, the soul actually at the core. And focus on that. Then you will come out like Arjuna, success. And deep-sighted means that here Krishna, in this sloka, Krishna is actually explaining that we have needs that are deeper than basic bodily needs such as food and shelter. We also need sense of meaning and purpose of our life. Ultimately, what do we need? Feeling loved. You know the word love, where is originating? Is it coming from matter? Is the love word, even in the Karmi, atheist, if you ask, where is this idea of love and loved? I want to feel loved and offer love. Is this material or non-material? Search out. Huh? Very good. You are intelligent. Yes, it is non-material. Even an atheist professor, I literally purposely try to not argue, but I said, let's see, figuring out where is this feeling, happiness. I want to be happy. I want to express my feeling. You cannot live, literally. It's not just Prabhupada said, practically we also see. You cannot live without loving someone. It is not possible. When you don't find anybody, then you love cat, dog, or country, or your house, something you love. You cannot live without love. And that's why Prabhupada put that logic. A child is born, first he love who? Breast milk, breast of my mother. Because the baby cannot see anything. Half closed, eye open, breast milk. And then he start loving, oh, brother, sister, oh, family, the community, the country. He expand his love for the whole humanity. But have you ever seen anybody completed, is nourished? Never. Why? Because they don't know the Supreme Beloved is Krishna. When they, what does that mean? Just Prabhupada gave that example. I mean, Bhagavatam gave that example. When you water different part of the tree and you think the tree will be healthy, happy, no. You have to water to the root. Until you water to the root, which is Krishna, you will never make the tree healthy. If you put ice cream on your eye, you may get blind. If you put ice cream on your ear, you may get deaf. If you put ice cream on your nose, you may stop breathing. I mean, you cannot supply food all parts of your body. The best part is you just put it in the mouth. Then whole body get nourished. It's a system. Similarly, when you know the beloved Krishna, when you love Krishna, you embrace Krishna, you embrace everybody. The whole world is happy. This science is very difficult for most of the people to understand in a karmic world. Only devotee understand that. So this is deep-sighted. You follow? We have to be far-sighted or also deep-sighted. And Arjuna understood that. That's a nice question. When we get knocked out, should we stay knocked out or should we get up? What do you think?
Yeah.
The Bible says, what's the difference between devil and saint? So both can fall. For one, get up and keep going, is saint. It's very nice teaching in the Bible. So similarly, 2.14, Krishna says, life may knock us down, but it cannot keep us down. Suppose we are walking on the road, on what is this road? 241, right? 241. Yeah, 241. And big storm comes and it knocks you down. Now, you think the hurricane will keep you down for too long? No. It may knock you down, eventually you'll get up and keep going. Similarly, life storm won't keep us down if we focus our spiritual identity and purpose. And when we focus our spiritual identity and purpose, then we will be staying internally balanced. We can keep contributing and growing spiritually. So these are like a few key points I'm just giving. And of course, vast discussion is there. Time is also sensitive, but I'm just giving some key points. So what you should do when we, you know the word resilience. Resilience. Resilience means you may fall, but you get up and go. Resiliency. So we may not be persistent, but we can be resilient. Is it? Yes. I see in my life. Sometimes, many times I got knocked down by material desire. I want to get married, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. I remember horrible desire I always had, so many. But you have to keep on going. Eventually, by the mercy of holy name, your endeavor, Krishna and Vaishnavas, you come out of all this horrible knocking you down, knocking you down. But you have to keep on getting up and go on, go on, go on. This is not just a philosophy, it is a practical application and it produces you realization. What is the progression in our life? Progression means two things: selection, elimination. Constant. Otherwise, there is no progression in spiritual life. This is the normal, isn't it? We liked one idea before, now we say, no, that's not exactly, you refine. You ever edited your own notes? I just did last few days. And I was talking to one son, I said, oh, that's very nice. You know, actually editing your own notes means you editing your consciousness. It's uplifting. It's very, I was like, really? Yeah, it makes sense. Actually, I have a different view. Generally, when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Where did this Hare Krishna came from? Always you have to remember, Bhakta mukhe aise naam goloko hoite, Atma hoite deho bepi nache jibba dite. Those verses I try to remember, very sweet verse. It says, Chaitanya Charitamrita gives very nice explanation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also made a comment, so many. He said, holy name never comes from this world. It is not a product of this world or a three modes. When you have an attitude to serve the holy name, two things you have to have. Service attitude and surrendering. You want to give yourself, but when you give, ask how much you're taking it back. Just like I'm giving $1,000. Did they mention my name that I gave $1,000? Means I want some name fame. You see, when we give, well, I'm serving the Lord. I should be protected. I should be, happy like this. Those are good concepts, but don't ask anything. When you surrender, you give. Just you've given your life for the God. That's perfect. So if you have these two things, then when you chant, that time holy name will descend. The verse is so sweet. It says, Bhakta mukhe aishanam goloko. the holy name appear from Golok Vrindavan to the soul and spread all over the body and started dancing on your tongue. When you chant, you never should think that you producing the sound. When you think you producing the sound, it's like a pulling the bullet, pulling the trigger without bullet. Because it is not a product of this world. It will never produce any substantial effect. Holy name descent. Rupa Goswami Pad quoted this. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grajyamindi. Seven mukhi jivado swayam eva spurti ada. When you have that service attitude, swayam eva. Swayam means he himself descend. We should always think, oh, the Lord has come. Yes, sir. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. I don't want to go to that route, but those verses like is so contagious. Like sometimes I chant early mornings, it's like those verses like give you so much happiness. It's such a wonderful explanation. Thanks to Mahaprabhu for this. So how can we overcome depression the way Arjuna did? Okay, that's a very good question. How can we overcome? Sometimes, I'll give you an example. If you have a little finger cut, and now you're like, my finger is cut. I'm going to sit down here and let the finger heal. Now, how long are you going to wait? You should wait for the whole finger to get healed, or you keep on going with the grief, with the pain. What would you do? So you're going to stay for 1 month. Well, you think you cut and it will heal like within a minute? Like immediately clots and immediately like somebody come, okay, back to skin. Why? It will be good, but it doesn't happen that way. It may take 7 days, 10 days, 2 months. I don't know how deep the cut is, right? So what do you do? Thank you. Very good answer. So we cannot always move on from grief. Try to remember, this is what Arjuna did. We cannot always move on in life with grief. What you should do? Need sometime move on with grief. And this is exactly what Arjuna did. So how do you do it? In 3 ways. 3 level vision of the self. You have a bodily level, you have a mental level, and you have a soul level. The mind is similar to the body. Sadness is a wound to our mind. It was very interesting. In a Shen's hospital. Anyway, it's like a whole story. I went with Arjuna. You know that story, right? Arjuna's finger was cut. Yeah. I went to Shen's hospital. And the doctor, because I was very curious, I'm still curious, I guess. I was asking that, where is the pain? He got cut here. Is the pain here or in the brain, or how does it work? Do you know? And this young fellow was very nice, Western doctor, very nice in Shen's. He said, actually, pain is not here. Pain is in here. I said, who proved it? He said, no, I studied. Actually, pain is in the brain. I said, but when I touch here, his finger, where he got cut, it was, I think, thumb, or how I forgot. I said, why it is pain? But he gave a good answer. It's exactly aligned with our philosophy. And I told him, and we give him a small book. I said, you'll be very happy with Krishna consciousness, because this has more details on what you believe. He said, the pain, when you touch the wound place, you feel like pain is there, and you feel out, because it's indicating pay attention here, not that pain is here. You follow? It's just you touch here, you feel like pain here. Pain is not here. Pain is in the brain, calculated, but it is here because you need to pay attention. That's why it is hurting here. I said, wow, this is so fascinating, because Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur in Gita Bhashya, he explained this. Very, very nice psychology that how this mechanism works. Our physical body is limited by this earthly planet. We cannot go over this planet. Even if you go in airplane, after 10 hours, 20 hours, what happened? You feel like, when you go down. Why? Because you've got a body. The body doesn't last on the air. If you make it like as in the sky, if you live there, after a few days, you'll get sick. Can I go down? Because you think you are this body. You think you are not this body. Test it. When we go to India, we feel like this. After 20 years, when you land, 2 hours from now, okay, good. Oh, God, this sounds good. So like this, because that's how it is. Body. Then we have this body is limited by this planet. But our subtle body, mind, it is connected from heaven to hell. And all these 7 planets and 3, these 10 planets, literally connected with our subtle body. That's why in the dream, you can travel many things, weird dream. You think like, is it real? Yes, those are also real. Just like this is real, that is also real. But in a subtle form, you follow. Bhu Bhuva Sa, these 3 planets, Tala, Tala, Bitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. These 7 planets. This 10 planet is connected with our mind, the subtle body. But the soul, it's inconceivable also. Just like Krishna is inconceivable, soul is also inconceivable. In Bhagavad Gita here, it says, very sweet verse, that soul, even though Prabhupada says 110,000 tip of hair, but it also says immeasurable. You say it 110,000 tip of your hair, but can you measure it? No. So it's inconceivable. It's very difficult to grasp it. So soul has a different level. Soul is different from the body, and body is different from the soul, and mind is different from the body. Mind is also different from the soul. And when you grasp in the Bhagavad Gita beginning, these 6, 7, 8, these verses, then you can understand the body is destructible. Soul is indestructible. Just the opposite nature. And when you understand like this, and your focus is on the soul more than the body and the mind, then your grief for these worldly things slowly disappear. Or you carry on while you are going in sadhana, eventually vanish. And this is what Arjuna did. And he understood. It took a long time. It's 18 chapters long. Verses 700 verses. Krishna spoke 574. Krishna is the best psychologist. Counsel, nice. Thus, Pran Govind Das has got individuality from dead matter to spirit. Actually, I put somebody else's name and they put mine. I give somebody to edit it, that Maharaj, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Maharaj. Very nice. He's a wonderful sadhu. So he edits and then put it there. My English is not so good sometimes. So, where this idea individuality comes from? Now, I was thinking about it while I was driving. All our Goswamis in spiritual world, they are Manjaris. If I bring you a picture of 1,000 Manjari, will you figure out who is who? Unless there is a name, they all look same. Are they same? No. When they come down as the Goswamis, is Rupa Goswami same as Sanatana Goswami or Raghunath Das Goswami? No. They're all individual. They're all individually wonderful. Is it? Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is Kasturi Manjari. Fine. Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. You follow? Loknath Goswami is Manjulali Manjari. These are main 8 Manjaris. We should know them. Raghunath Das Goswami go. But when we look at from this Goswami angle, oh my God, they are all individually unique. And there is no similarity. You follow? I mean, common thing is there. They are all lover of Mahaprabhu. They all belongs to in a Manjari form, beloved Manjaris of Radharani. But in a Manjari, if you look at million Manjari, you may get confused who is who, maybe they are all one or something. No, they are all individualities maintained in spiritual world. I'm just giving you that way an example. Also in this body we have individuality. Just like Pangajani Prabhu just passed away. And if you don't know these two brothers very close, you may think like who is who, Pangajani or Jananivas. Did I have that confusion? Maybe I probably had, but a long time I stayed with them in Mayapur. So when I see Jananivas Prabhu, yeah, he is Jananivas. There's a little distinction between each other. You follow? And actually they are not same character. They are completely different. They have their individuality, they have their individual preference, personality, all are different. Even though externally looks like both are same, almost same nose, same color skin, but there's a difference. So many ways to look at it. So what causes the individuality? Is it the body? Is it the spirit? Is it the who are you? What you are made of? Even in the material level, there's individuality. So is there a oneness that you may lose the? No. There is a oneness. We also believe in oneness. Because in spiritual realm, all the Manjaris has oneness. Whatever pleases Radharani, pleasing Krishna, they will do. So that oneness is there. But individuality is never lost. And Prabhupada gives that example, green bird in a green forest. But it looks like a part of that forest. But if you look very close, oh, there's a bird, there's a branch of tree. It's not the same. It's like two opposite. You follow? So individuality, that's not a problem. I found one sticker. This is from 28 July 1969, letter to Mandali Bhadra. Prabhupada writes, each individual being must have his opinion. That is the significance of individuality. But all such differences of opinions must coincide in Krishna. Very nice. And we can talk more about it. But individuality, I don't have a problem. I see that it's like, we thought about it a lot. It is eternally there. Because just Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I may not have a strong faith, so I may get disturbed, but individuality always there. And if you have a strong faith on Krishna's word, then wonderful. Just accept it. No need to even research. But I like to accept, also discuss more. 7:45. Is it possible to avoid inevitable deaths, devastation, or trauma? Yes? No? No. There is one and there is one not. Is it possible to avoid inevitable deaths, devastation? No. But trauma, yes. You can agree with this? What's the fear of death? What is the really fear of death? Huh?
Not knowing what's next.
Unknown what? Destination? What will happen? Okay. What else?
What's happened to the body and all my family members, like just or the lack of not being able to fulfill
So
desires,
you're saying that you will be losing the loved ones.
or regret for not doing things.
No, but once you are the fear of death, like what is the fear of death really? Losing loved one. That's genuine, you can say.
If you don't want to meet the Yamarash or go to hell.
That's also true.
You don't know what's going to happen after that's unknown.
But generally in the West also they have eternal domination. There's a fear of that too. It sounds scary, just the word eternal domination. Some people also has the fear of seeing something they never want to see, called Jamadutas.
Fear that they won't exist anymore.
Yeah, fear of unknown, non-existence, losing memory, losing enjoyment, awareness, all this. Yeah, that's true. So you may not be avoid. Well, that's not may not. You will not be avoid death, but trauma, yes, trauma of death you can avoid. And there's a whole science about it. Because of the time, but you can read on 22nd chapter, 27 verse. Krishna says that as death is inevitable, so is the soul's reincarnation after death. We have an eternal relationship with Krishna, Supreme, whose eternal parts we are. Our post-mortem journey, as well as our pre-mortem journey, is guided by the Supreme Lord, who is present in our own hearts. So Krishna assures that if we remember him at the time of death, what is that verse? Antakale chamameva smaran mukta kalevaram japrayati samad bhavam jatinastata samsaya. Undoubtedly, Krishna says, if you think of me at the moment of death, you will come to me. Such a wonderful, love song. So if we cultivate his remembrance in the essence of this practice of Bhakti Yoga, by diligent bhakti practice, we become increasingly attached to Krishna and increasingly attuned to his indwelling presence, Paramatma, Super Soul. We realize that he is always with us and that at death he will come with us. You know that Krishna will go with you. So what is the fear of? You're not focusing on him. You ever been to a scary place, but with a group of people that you are not scared anymore? Sure. If you have a group of friends, you don't mind. So when you know Krishna is the supreme origin, fearless personality, and he is going to be with you at the moment of death, what is the fear? Fear is that we are not focusing on him. Then journey is here. To the contrary, we will go closer to him, eventually uniting with him for an eternal life beyond death. With this understanding, when we face death, our consciousness rises beyond the trauma of bodily breakdown to devotional absorption in our Lord's loving embrace. Very sweet. How can we guard our intelligence? Oh, that's the last question. No. Very good. When Joe Biden goes somewhere, or Trump, or Joe Biden, let's not talk. Joe Biden, where the president, wherever he goes, he has a bodyguard. What's the purpose of the bodyguard? To protect him. But bodyguard also need guards. What bodyguard means? The food and shelter on time. If they don't get food and shelter, if they're like tired and weak, and they are guarding him for 12 hours, and they're like falling asleep, and some guy comes and give them a short little injection, they will fall asleep. They took over the president. You understand the point? Similarly, intelligence will guide us, but we also have to feed the intelligence, guard the intelligence. How do you guard our intelligence? Studying Bhagavad Gita every day. Do this every day. Just do it. I do this. I'm not just telling you. I do this every day. Few hours. Just study Prabhupada's book. It's necessary. This is called feeding the intelligent who will guard you. What the guard? What is going to guard me? Generally, we think when you have some temptation is coming. The temptation comes and it influences us, but when the guard is there, intelligence is there, say, no, this is temporary. Don't waste your time. I see within me, it's like tells, talk to me like, this is wasting time. You feel like, oh, secure. It's like somebody is like talking to you. Of course, Krishna is there. But intelligence, Prabhupada said, is next door to super soul. So super soul use the intelligence to guard it. But you have to also guard intelligence. Everybody understand my way of saying it? Like you have to feed the guard, make sure he rests enough so he can do the security job for you. Good. You follow? But if you just tell him, just always guard me, and you don't care for his food and shelter, one day you come and some thief comes and they're like, you all guard are like, because nobody takes care of them. So if you want the guard to guard you, you make sure you take care of the guard. So you have to feed the guard with spiritual knowledge every day. You read every day, Bhagavad Gita, every day you feed the intelligence. You follow? That's what intelligence likes, religion, logic. Okay, this is good. You are spiritual being. You're not matter. So this relationship is with the body. It's dismissed. How they guide you so much, you like feel like very safe, protected always. But make sure you feed the intelligence also. In a shorter version. And that's it. So the bottom line is, we need our spiritual intelligence. Our intelligence needs to be, what's the conclusion we learned? Awakened, not weakened. Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol. Any question? No, we'll just chant. We're already late. We'll chant a few minutes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare